champions! Champions of Europe finally! History made in Istanbul! The treble complete! The greatest story in club history has an ending! And what a final chapter!
Hello everybody and welcome back to Typical City. Hope you're all doing well, Blues and non-Blues. I hope you're all doing well and taking good care of yourself. Good to see so many of you in the chat. I've got to say straight away, Scott, you did make me chuckle there. First topic of discussion, how are the Jeffsticles, or Jeffsticles you've called them? Pretty good. Everyone's waiting to hear from Jeff. He's not in the chat right now, I can see that, but everyone's waiting to hear about Jeff's poor little vasectomy that he went through last week as well. For those who missed it, Jeff had a vasectomy that he was very open and honest about, and we're all hoping his balls are doing okay, to put it bluntly. But good to see so many of you in the chat as well. Douglas, good to see Joshua, Roblox fan. Eric, good, doing well, mate. Hope you are. Sui, Marie as well, good to see you. Big M predicting 5-0, section 20. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one, to be honest. A little bit arrogant yesterday, bordering on arrogance a little bit. Guaranteed win was the words. I did pop a question mark after it, so that legally gives you license to say whatever you want on the internet. As long as you put a question mark after anything, it's like, oh, he wasn't saying it, he was asking it. So yeah, in my head I was thinking, yeah, I kind of think this is almost a guaranteed win, and I understand that in the Premier League there is no guarantees in any football match. I do understand that, I'm well aware of that, and by the law of averages, Bournemouth are due a win against Manchester City. Could that be today? I don't think so. I really don't think so. The fact that we were on fire against United in that second half, we're going to take that form into this game. You know, whereas Bournemouth have been poor this season. They did pick up a win against Burnley, of course, last week, but they lost to Liverpool. They played okay midweek against Liverpool. They got knocked out of the League Cup, but they did play okay. So there is potential for them to have a very minor little spring in their step that they could use as momentum, as confidence to take into this game. But I think straight away, the manager has immediately indicated what his thoughts are. This is probably the first time I've seen Bournemouth look like they're playing 5 at the back all season. And for them to do it against City is understandable, but that's the level of confidence that you're now going to probably retract from Bournemouth. If anything, you're probably not, rather than inject a little bit of confidence, right, same again, lads, same formation as last week, we're going to go again and try and do it. Doing that against City is bordering on suicide, isn't it? Like footballing suicide. So it's like, you know, it would be daft for them to play like that, and it makes sense for them to do that, but you're immediately on the defensive mindset. And I think that's going to bode well for us. I really do. I think that's going to bode well for us. I'll give you the team news as well, which you've probably already seen, seeing as I start these quite late, don't I? Compared to others, and team news comes out at 2 o'clock on a 3 o'clock kickoff. So, but if you haven't seen it, Ederson, Walker, Akanji, and Ake at the back. That being a back 3. Stones and Rodri is going to sit in front of them. Stones obviously going to do the half-back role that we've spoke about. That's virtually never going to be happening. You're never going to see him at centre-back. Very rarely are you going to see us have to defend today. I imagine we're going to be on the front foot for the majority of the game, which means John Stones is going to be playing in midfield for the majority of the game. Bernardo Silva, I've put him on the right. Alvarez and Kovacic, who's got an interesting role today. I am curious about where Kovacic is going to play. I've put him instead of Foden, playing alongside Alvarez as part of the front 2 of a box, which means over to you, Kovacic. Time for some creative, you know, threading those balls through the channel. We need some of that from Kovacic today, because we've seen the box-to-box Kovacic, which I prefer. I quite liked what I saw in those first 6 games. The defensive midfield Kovacic, not a big fan. Didn't really like him in that position, to be honest. He didn't stand out to me. He looked laboured. And then the fact that Rodri was missing a lot of the time as well made him look even worse, didn't it? It really stood out, the fact that Rodri wasn't there and Kovacic was there. I've gone for Doku on the left and Haaland up top. But they're playing 5 at the back, by the looks of it, with Radu in net for the injured Neto, who's got an ankle injury for Bournemouth. Their number 1 goalkeeper's missing. So they are struggling with injuries as well, Bournemouth. So we should be beating them quite comfortably as well. Good to see you, Jan. Hope you're doing well. I think I saw Jeff pop up there before. Yeah, you've been missed, Jeff. You have to scroll up the rest of the chat, Jeff, to find out what Scott's asking about you, mate. And he's worried about you. He's worried about you, Jeff. So, anyway, Bournemouth team, Aaron's right wing back, Mepham, Zabani, Kelly as the 3. I did say in my preview that Kelly can play centre back or he can play left back. I wasn't expecting him to play both Kirkes and Kelly, which indicates that Kelly's probably going to play as the left side of a centre back 3. And then it looks like sort of a 5-2-3 sort of situation with Scott and Billing. Billing's a quality player. I'm a big fan of Billing. I think he's really good. I really like the way he plays. He's got that big physical presence, the way he ghosts around the pitch. He carries the ball really well. So he's going to be vital for Bournemouth to get anything out of this game today. Christie on the right I've gone for, where normally he tucks in behind Solanke, but I've gone sort of on a right side because I'm trying to figure out, I'm guessing here what Bournemouth are doing. Tavernier on the left and Solanke up front, which completes the team news. I do think we're going to beat them though. And I mean, I'm not feeling a bit bad about saying the word guaranteed win, because if ever there was a game where you could say something as, as arrogant as that, a guaranteed win. I understand, like I said, there are no guarantees in the Premier League. But if ever there was, it was this game. They've never beaten us. That doesn't mean we're going to win. So the guaranteed win might have been a touch arrogant, but still, that we've got 12 wins out of 12 in the Premier League. In the Premier League, we have beaten them every time we've played them. In our 18 top-flight games against Bournemouth in our history, they've never beaten us. I think they've only drawn twice. So I don't think I was that out of order, really, to suggest it's bordering on a guaranteed win. Or at least ask the question, which is why I popped a little question mark at the end of it. But, yeah, what's that? Gillimonster 666 going for 12-0 City. It's been on the cards that, something like that. We haven't really... What's the highest score we've done in the last, 5-6 years? I'm sure we put 8 past Watford, 2, 3, maybe 4 seasons ago. Something like that. I think that was our highest result, was about 8 at home to Watford. I'm pretty sure it was 8. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I remember I think it was the year before I was born, or 2 years before I was born, 1986 or 1987, we beat Huddersfield 10-1. I think that's City's biggest ever result in our history. My dad taped it on VHS tape, and as a kid, I used to watch it every weekend just to think about the idea of City being good. Imagine being back then but this was when 1993, 1994. I'm looking at the games, thinking God, we're shit. We are crap. Dad, why are you dragging me to watch this shower to play football? And they're useless. Then it's right, we used to be all right, son. That's what he used to say to me. We used to be all right, and I promise you, one day we'll be good. He promised me that. Didn't let me down, Got a bit lucky. Sheikh Mansour kind of helped him with that a little bit. But still, he made that promise and came true. But I used to just live off those results. And the 5-1 at Main Road as well against United. I think that was 1990. I used to watch that every weekend, and Huddersfield 10-1 every weekend on VHS tape. So I didn't even have fast forward. I just had to plug it in and press play and watch it from start to finish. That was my weekend of watching City football. But... yeah, teams are about to walk out. Hopefully, 10-1. That'll be nice, wouldn't it? Maybe not 12-0, but wouldn't be surprised if we do get a high score today. I really think we've got the idea of, plenty of goals is on the agenda today, and I don't think that's unreasonable. Bear with me. Cortez, good to see you. How old are you, Section 20, if you don't mind me asking? Were you alive for the 10-1, yeah? 9-0 Burton, I think, in EFL Cup, but 8-0 versus Watford in the Premier League. Was it 9-0 against Burton? That rings a bell as well. I don't remember the 9-0 that well. It just rings a bell, but I really remember the 8-0. Because that was Premier League, wasn't it? And I was thinking we can go for I was always thinking about the 9-1, which Leicester have now done the same thing, didn't they? It was United against Ipswich, wasn't it? That was the record in the Premier League for the highest goals in a game. In a Premier League game was 9-1, United beating Ipswich 9-1, and then Leicester did it to Southampton 2 seasons ago. And what's his name? What was the Southampton manager at the time? I can't remember his name now. Kept his job, and then he turned it round after that. Fair play to the guy, you know what I mean? Kept keeping your job, and then turning it around and actually putting Southampton in a good vein of form. They still got relegated eventually, didn't they? But still, No Jack again. Buggan's going mental, driving him crazy. Vinny, good to see you. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Goal difference might be vital. Absolutely. That's the thing in these type of games. We need to be considering that, without being overly, like a bull in a china shop. We need to be respectful of Bournemouth and the fact that they do pose a threat going the other way, because which Premier League team doesn't at the end of the day? You need to be mindful of that. But, you want to get the game won early, 2 or 3-0 in the first half, ideally. I mean, that sounds arrogant, but I think why not? Why not? We're more than capable of doing that. And if we do take a 2-3-0 lead in that first half, then you shift into goal, don't they? Because they go in damage limitation mode. They go, right, we've lost, let's not get humiliated. So they shift back. They don't think they're in the game still at 3-0. 2-0, they tend to offer a bit of a threat going the other way. But 3-0, it's like game over. Let's not get humiliated. We then need to go into like gung-ho mode. Let's go for the jugular, right? Let's humiliate them. Let's get a 7-8-0 potentially and really rank up that goal difference. And as we all know too well, it matters. We've won a league on goal difference, so it matters. Absolutely matters. And the City fans always remember the fact that we won on goal difference. And it is games like this that you should be having that little thought in the back of your mind, like, come on, we can get some big, big goals on the scoreboard here. But you're an old fogey, are you, Section 20? 51? No, you're not old, mate. What are you talking about? Not old. But James from Thailand, hope you're doing good. Began supporting City at 7 years old, and that was 1966. No way. I'm not going to do the maths, mate. I'm terrible at maths. My son's bloody brilliant at maths for a 6-year-old. It's ridiculous. Firing questions at me, brushing my teeth. What's 212 divided by 3? I'm like, I don't know. Why are you asking me? And he'll go, well, I'll tell you. And he'll get it right more often than not. It's frightening ability what he's got with maths. Didn't get it from me. Definitely didn't get it from me. Didn't get it from Charlotte either. Don't know why, but they're doing a bit of a remembrance here. The two managers walking out with a big bouquet or a wreath, what do I call it, of roses, which is nice to see. Arsenal later, isn't it? Eric in the chat as well. Looking forward to that one, are you, mate? Got Newcastle. United as well. Scrawpy. It's like, do you know what? There's a little part of me that that's actually a little bit happy they scored in a strange way, in a long-term thinking way, because it's like, well, that keeps the problems there. Whereas I don't think the idea of sacking the manager right now and getting rid of Erik ten Hag would fix it. It would temporarily improve things. That's what it would do, and it would make them better for the next 6 months. They'd get that buzz like every club does. When a new manager comes in, you go, all right, changing things out. There's a fresh face. He's going to shake things up, do a few new things, introduce a few new tactics. And you get performances when the feel-good factor is reintroduced into a club like that. So if United were to go and get, say, Zinedine Zidane, which is the name that's been linked instead of Erik ten Hag, then there would be a buzz around the place again. They'd have that feel-good factor. They'll be looking forward to games. The players will have a point to prove. And they'd probably go on some sort of semi-decent run. And then next year, they'd do the same shit again, where all these bad apples surface and show their faces again. These horrible players that they've got playing for them with terrible, terrible attitudes. They're clearly there for the money, a lot of them, and clearly do not have the club's best interest at heart. And it shows in the squad. Their performances in that Manchester derby were just shambolic. They were shite. Absolutely terrible. Attitude-wise was just disgusting. I mean, if I'm a United fan, I'm fuming. Absolutely fuming. I was a little bit insulted that they didn't give a shit because City were playing. There was a part of me that's like, what, do you not care that we're playing? It was a little bit insulting. Like, come on, take us seriously. Anyway, game's about to get underway. Let's hope for a lag-free stream today as well. That'd be nice. YouTube doing me dirty last time, and we're underway. Come on, City! Back with Edison. It's 1-0 Bournemouth. No, I'm joking. After all that talk in the preview. That would have been good. But, yeah, trying to figure out what City are doing here. Kovacic is definitely playing further forward. Stones is dropped quite deep as well. I want to see a big game from Doku as well, because I think he's been brilliant and so entertaining. But I think there was a little moments I thought that in the previous 2 games where he could have done a little bit more with a bit more composure. I think the frustrating thing is you look at Grealish and you like take a little dose of Doku into your game, and then you look at Doku and you like take a bit of Jack Grealish and put that into your game. You know, imagine merging those 2 players. Do you know what I mean? What they both offer are very different things, but that little composure that Jack Grealish has got, I'd love to see Doku learn that side of the game, as well as Grealish trying to be a little bit more explosive once in a while. But Bournemouth trying to mount a bit of pressure there with Solanke. Ball back with Nathan Ake. Yeah, they are playing 5 at the back by the looks of it. Looks like I've got the Bournemouth formation pretty much right in what I was expecting. Walker giving the ball away there. Quite high up the pitch as well, which is interesting. So this looks more like what we were doing at the start of the season, in fact, with John Stones is playing in the Ruben Diaz role. So he isn't really pushing forward at the minute, John Stones. So the back 3 right now actually looks like Nathan Ake, John Stones and Manuel Akanji. And Walker is pushing really far forward. Haaland received the ball, shoved off the ball. Oh, and he's giving it away. Tried to thread a ball through to Alvarez, couldn't do it. But good bit of number 9 play, showing his strength there. With Kelly, I think it was, who was trying to get the ball. And he said, get off me. But yeah, Walker's doing that, bombing it up and down the wing, which means Bernardo Silva as a winger on the right wing is going to be inverted. So he's going to be very much tucking inside the field, allowing Kyle Walker to have the space to overlap him, which is what we were doing in the first 6 games of the season. I'm not a fan of it. In truth, here he is, Kyle Walker. Get back to Bernardo Silva. Tries to cross, blocked. It's just because Kyle Walker doesn't offer what Bernardo Silva offers as a wide player. Is that when you think of a player who you want in the final third, you don't think of Kyle Walker. He doesn't spring to mind. You know, I don't want him that part of the pitch. I want him at the other end of the pitch, you know, preventing counter-attacks and doing his unbelievable backtracking, where he just makes any sort of attacker that comes near him look like an infant who can't run with the ball because he's so quick. But going forward, he's not bad, but he's not like elite level, you know, crossing ability and just that awareness and threading a nice little through ball. But here he is, Kyle Walker, bombing it down the right-hand side. Bernardo Silva on the ball, though. Kyle Walker's now received it down by the corner flag, like I was saying. Tucks it back to Akanji. Jeff with the 2. And he's called it. Doku to score in the first 10 minutes. There we go. It's happening. It's happening. Rodri. Out to Doku. Straight away, down the line to Alvarez. Left-hand side of the pitch. Down to the byline. Alvarez, not sure what he wants to do with it here. Has to go back to Doku. Doku just like dangling the ball. Bursts to the byline. Whips it in. Left foot. Haaland! Oh, he's pushed, is he not? Haaland goes up in the air. It looks like he was about to get underneath it. But all of a sudden, he's on the floor. Looked like he got a little bit of a push there. Alvarez has got it. Edge of the area. Has a shot. Well over the bar. Haaland does a bit of one. It throws his arms up in the air a little bit. Looks like he was pushed there. Referee's talking to him. I'm not sure VAR are even looking at this one. Yeah, nice. Haaland makes a bit of a meal of that play on. Eric, appreciate you asking, mate. Was I able to find a better team for my son to play on? You have to keep up that training for the future City star. Yeah, mate. I'll tell you in a sec, mate, because here comes City. Alvarez bringing the ball forward. Down the right-hand channel to Bernardo Silva. Whips it in right-footed. Cleared. Almost, not completely. Gets it out to the edge of the area. Kyle Walker tries to head it a bit stupidly across the face of goal there. Gives it away. Solanke bringing it forward. Kyle Walker had a bit more time there. In answer to your question, Eric, yeah, I have. My son found a new team and they're bloody unbelievable. They're really, really good. Like, very good team. he can't hear me, and I would never say this to him, but he's well off the pace. Like, he is he went from being the best player in the team, or the top goal scorer in the team at least, in his previous team. Now he's like quite low, and he only recently started playing football. He's 6 years old, so he only really started playing it. They have all been playing as a team since they were like 3, these lads. They're winning games like 10-0 and just destroying teams. But I'm glad he's playing with them, because you only get better at the game by playing with better players. And it's so well organised, the club as well, really well organised. They've got an app, 6-year-old football team with an app. You heard anything like that? City have got an app. I'm sure they don't organise the games, right? Haaland, I'm going to send you a message on the app. You're up front, mate. But still, really good. I'm enjoying it. Thanks for asking, mate. And he's happy as well. Yeah, you do, Jeff. You need a prediction, because you've been off it, mate. I think you need a few weeks rest. I might put you on the bench, mate. Yeah, you've not been calling him, Jeff. It's all right, mate. You've got good self-awareness. You're aware of you're lacking in predictions right now, and you just got to go away, have a think, gather your thoughts, and you'll come back stronger, mate. You'll come back stronger. Big up to Jeff for even making this stream possible once again, by the way, watching on his account on USA Network. Very big thank you owed to Jeff for being able to watch this, so I do appreciate that, Jeff. City dominating the ball as expected. Little glimpses of getting close to creating something, getting in opportunities to cross the ball, but other than that, Kyle Walker taking his age on the ball there. But he does well in the end, gets it back to Edison, who's being pestered by the Bournemouth midfield. Ake bringing it forward down the left-hand side. Glides past Scott like he wasn't even there. Doku on the ball. Twisting, turning. They're terrified of him. He's onto his right foot. Plays it simple to Rodri. Everton 1-0 up against Brighton. No way. That's not good news for the whole league table and where United are, because United are currently sitting in 6th. How are United 6th? I was listening to watching the game as well, United, today. And in fairness to their fans, they were making a decent bit of noise, but the commentary was going on about, like, how good are these United fans? How good are the United fans, singing like this in the turmoil that they're in, the struggles that they're going through, and they're turning up and they're singing their hearts out. Oh, well done, United, sitting in 6th in the Premier League. What a terrible time to be a United fan. 6th in the Premier League. Try being in League One and then turn up and then sing, Absolute nonsense, giving them large respect for celebrating and clapping for being in 6th in the Premier League. That's not a problem. We know what problems are. League One and being relegated 2 seasons on the trot. That is problems, and then still turning up in our numbers. 28,000 in Main Road was the average when we were down there. Doku, brilliant. Bit of footwork, plays it safe. Back to Ake, whips it in. Back post over everybody. No one near it, to be honest. Kyle Walker picking up the loose cross that goes all the way out. Tries to whip it back in. Deflected. Corner. Of course. Forgot that, Douglas. Ake is former Bournemouth. A former Cherry, isn't he? He did well there, didn't he? What did we pay for him? It was about 40 million, wasn't it? For Nathan Ake. Bargain, really. Calvin Phillips, 45 million. Nathan Ake, 40 million. It's a bargain by those terms, isn't it? Alvarez on the corner. 2 hands up. Must signal something. Something's going to happen. Referee blows. Something's going on in the box again. Hopefully, Alvarez can get something from corners in this game, because he took 13 against United and all of them failed. Bernardo Silva, edge of the area. Over the bar. Tries a little clever one there, tucks it straight back to Bernardo Silva on the floor. Alvarez fires it across the face of the goal to Bernardo Silva, who drills it left-footed quite a way over the bar as well. Akanji's been tripped in the box, though, asking for something. It's not going to be given, though. That's it. Ballon d'Or team club of the year. Isn't that the third year running as well? I've never been a big fan of the Ballon d'Or. You know, I've never really took an interest in it that much. I don't know. It just seems a bit artificial. Even more so, this Ballon d'Or in particular had City fans invested because we had a real proper. Hang on a minute, Bournemouth coming down. Solanke's got inside John Stones here, down the right hand side. Bournemouth looking with numbers, getting into the box as well. 4 Bournemouth players in the box. Scott looking for a 1-2 with Christie. City are forcing them back to the halfway line, but Bournemouth mounting a bit of pressure here. Kelly out for a goal kick. Yeah, so I'm not a fan of the Ballon d'Or. I mean, I never was before this particular Ballon d'Or that took place with Messi beating Haaland to it, but it made me interested more because we've got a City player invested in it. Of course, that made me think, oh, come on, we can do this. Imagine having a Ballon d'Or player. That would be nice. And Haaland deserves it. I was more in the camp of Haaland, but it just seems just off. The whole thing about it seems off. It's not really football-based, is it? It's more narrative-based, if that makes sense. You know, obviously the narrative is around football, but it's not purely football. You know, it's not genuine football like statistics, like how many goals have you scored, even like goalkeepers now have no chance of winning the Ballon d'Or. Do you know what I mean? You have to, now it's all about the glamorous side of football, which is scoring goals and doing that side of the game, which makes it almost impossible now for goalkeepers and defenders to get Ballon d'Or wins and things like that. And it's not just that either, it's the fact that you have to win a World Cup now apparently, which makes no sense, because I mean Enzo Fernandez, Julian Alvarez, Romero of Argentina were bloody brilliant in that World Cup, whipped in by Kyle Walker, out for another corner. So the fact that Lionel Messi, you know, the French League Team of the Year, Ligue 1 Team of the Year, Messi didn't even get in that team. So if he's not even getting in the French Ligue 1 Team of the Year, how is he winning a Ballon d'Or? How is he, as an individual, being considered the best player in the world that year? It makes no sense to me. Julian Alvarez with the corner, whipped in, cleared. He's got to do better. He's got to beat the first man. I've seen him take good corners, Alvarez, and Pep clearly trusts him, because every time it's a corner, it's Alvarez, isn't it? He took them all against United, 13 to be precise, and 1 was accurate, if you want the actual figures. Today he's taken 2. 1 was a low cut pass back to Bernardo Silva, and 1 there was near post cleared. Kanji bringing it forward. You can see what the thinking is with the front 2 at the box, because Alvarez and, hang on a minute, Bernardo Silva to Kovacic, edge of the area. It's going to be Rodri first time. Oh, couldn't quite connect with it. Bernardo Silva tried to lay it across to Rodri, who's coming onto it, doesn't need to break his stride, tries to sweep it with his side foot, right foot, just doesn't connect with it properly, and it sort of rolls towards Radu, who picks it up nice and easy. Everton beating Brighton. Yeah, it is. Muddy Duck. Equivalent of Eurovision's the Ballon d'Or. I agree, mate. Stones does really well there. That was a difficult ball to deal with. Not only does he deal with it defensively, but he brings it down. He controls it and lays in Kovacic. Ake dinks one over the top. Doku chasing it to the byline. He goes. He's going to do him. He's burst past him and he's brought down. There was no attempt to stop the ball, get the ball there. He just leans on Doku and grabs him. No penalty given, though. It was one of those that I'm not sure Doku was getting it anyway because another defender came in. Ooh, Bournemouth trying to dribble it out. Aaron's nearly got caught on the ball there. Kovacic trying to clip away, chipping at his heels. They're going to have a look at this, I think, because Doku beats his man. I want to see how much he actually tries to... No, it's not a penalty. I don't think there's enough in it. He doesn't make enough of a grab or enough of a, a push or anything like that. But Doku beats him. Akanji getting back does really well there because Solanke was sent through there. Akanji, they're posing a little bit of a threat. Bournemouth are. Not much. It's just there's little glimpses that there's something in this for them. They believe. 15 minutes have gone. That's flown by that, hasn't it? And we haven't really looked like scoring. Here they go again, Bournemouth, trying to slip it through the channels. But City are dealing with it really well. It's good defending right now. Good shape from Akanji, Stones and Ake. Because anything that's coming through them, it isn't coming through them, to be honest. Kovacic's brought down in the middle of the park there. GM Kid, Gamification. Maurice, good to see you. Hope you're all doing really well. Jack as well, seeing you as well. Beckham giving the award to Messi. It's a joke. It's rigged. Completely agree. Jan as well. I'm not sure I've said. Haaland, back post. He's almost cleared it. I think that's the best thing he could do is try and get it back into the action. Yeah, Jan, good to see you. It's selected by 100 journalists. If Haaland was playing for Real Madrid, he would have won it. Yeah. It does feel like that at times. I remember the years when Aguero was just like, Aguero, that guy, arguably one of some would say the greatest Premier League striker. I think he's incredible. My favourite all-time Premier League striker is Didier Drogba. I love Didier Drogba. I thought he was such a beast. Unplayable on his day. Unplayable. But still, Aguero is in that, that conversation. But for him he didn't win any individual awards, Aguero. Do you know what I mean? He was never in the team of the year or anything like that. How many player of the months did he get? Did he get one player of the month in his entire City? It's a joke. Do you know what I mean? This guy's just an absolute beast. And because he wears a City shirt, which seems to be a very offensive thing to wear if you're a member of the Premier League. Rodri, back to Doku. Doku's seen a lot of the ball. Plays it simple. Back to Rodri. Rodri's going to have a shot here. Shoots! Oh! I think my reaction made it sound closer than it was because the City players didn't seem like they thought it was close. Could have gone well wide this. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's quite a bit wide. Sets it really far wide. Doesn't come in. Yeah, David Silva as well. Unbelievable player. Never getting a sniff of the Ballon d'Or, and he was the best midfielder in the world. I think he's City's greatest ever player, David Silva. I really do. I loved him. I don't think City fans recognise David Silva as the great that he was. I think there's so no one thinks he's bad. Not one City fan I've ever heard say he wasn't that good, David Silva. I mean, I haven't heard that once. But I just think because it still falls into that same way of thinking that makes Ballon d'Or winners. Do you know what I mean? You need to score goals. You need to be glamorous. You need to do the real... Doku, bursting, byline, he's in! Doku, it's a good bit of defending eventually from Bournemouth, but he's beating his man with ease. Get that ball to Doku as often as possible because he's got his fullback on toast right now. Solanke brings it down. It's a good bit... Tavernier doing a bit of hold-up play really well. He's offside now, though. Bournemouth looking to... That's the thing with Bournemouth. They need to, if they're going to break, they need to break in numbers. Breaking with one or two, it isn't enough. Zaba for Ballon d'Or. Zabaleta was so good. He's another forgotten legend, isn't he? He's not forgotten. He just doesn't come up in the conversation very much. When you think of City greats, Zabaleta was one of them. He never comes up though, does he? Because again, not glamorous, not a goal scorer. But I think, City fans who watch City and like that type of player. I love the type of player that breaks his nose and carries on playing. Bert Troutman. Anyone who's young enough, I'm sure there's old enough people to know who Bert Troutman is. Broke his neck, carried on playing. Completely unaware that he had a broken neck, but played. That's the type of player I'm into. I like that type of player. Zabaleta, how many times did we see him with a headband on, with blood dripping down his eyebrow? Do you know what I mean? I love that. It's just so what? Get on with the game. I'm here to win. Bernardo Silva trying to bring down a really difficult ball, and he does it fantastically well. Bernardo Silva now finding a pocket of space, tucking it to Alvarez, and Alvarez couldn't quite get it underneath him. And Zabani clears it. Another corner. Alvarez with another opportunity to whip one in. We need to see some quality from these corners because we've got Ake, who isn't the biggest, but he's an absolute danger man in the corner. In the opposition box, he can score goals. He's a threat. John Stones, massive, big leaper of the ball. Akanji, he's big in the air. Haaland, Rodri. He's gone short again, same duplicate corner as before. Back to Bernardo Silva, but Kovacic leaves it. Alvarez whips it back in. Ake underneath it, cleared. Haaland, edge of the area. Cushions it to Doku, who cushions it back to Haaland. Haaland now looking to cross the ball, but knocks it down the line to Akanji instead and says, I'm not crossing that. Here, you have it. I'm getting in the box. And in the box he is. Doku. Kyle Walker from about 30 yards out thought about it. You could see, but he knocks it sensibly to Alvarez. Bernardo Silva with so much freedom, so much space. Bernardo Silva twisting, turning, edge of the area. This inverted winger roll. Alvarez whips it back post. Haaland off the post. Oh, what a goal that would have been. Some of the intricate play that we were playing there in that build-up started with a corner, eventually works its way out to Haaland, who doesn't want to get involved in crossing the ball. He wants to be in the box for that reason we've just seen. Alvarez with a delicious little cross. Dinks it, back post. Haaland, should he have done better? No, it's a corner ball. Kelly does really well, gets it on the back of his head. It's another corner. Alvarez this time, same again, takes it short. Bournemouth just not switching on. Edge of the area, Walker, he's got to lay it across one more. Now it's with Bernardo Silva. Dinks it. Cleared. Kovacic. It's all City so far. Goals coming. Alvarez whips it in. Ake couldn't get underneath it. Looks like it's gone out for a goal kick. And it has. Pressure over. But, yeah, they don't make them like that anymore. Section 20. I used to live near Bert Troutman. Yeah, that header from Haaland, he's headed it into the back of the head of Kelly. And I think the header was intended to go back across goal, across Radu, who's diving towards his near post. I think the intention was to head it across him. But it hits the back of Kelly and then clips off the near post. Not really a bad miss, to be honest. I think that was just a good bit of defending, trying to put Haaland off, and he did a good job. Rodri bringing it forward. Simple pass to Kovacic. Fires it through the lines to Doku. Really good ball from Kovacic. Doku doesn't do the right, tries to cut it back, but good bit of defending there. Still not cleared. Ake tucks it inside to Rodri. It's coming. I feel a goal coming. It's really good play at the minute. It's really good play. The last 5 minutes has been brilliant. Knocking it around. Bournemouth can't cope. Kovacic, edge of the area. I literally can't keep up in speaking their names. They're passing it around so quickly. Bernardo Silva, Alvarez, Kyle Walker. Oh, Walker thought about it. He's giving it away for a goal kick there. He thought about crossing it first time, and then he thought, I'm going to dummy this, and he gets caught in two minds and does neither, and it clips off his toe and goes out for a goal kick. Yeah, Kevin De Bruyne will be taking them again soon. The thing is, I've seen Alvarez's corners, Scott, and he is good at them. It's just the last game in the derby wasn't great. In this game, he's only whipped one in. All of them have gone short, like to the edge of the area, across the floor, and it's mad how Bournemouth haven't cottoned on to this idea yet. Lovely little layoff from Haaland. Haaland's in on his right foot, is he? He's on his right foot, it's blocked. Haaland somehow, he squirmed his way through, got a little bit of a ricochet, got a little bit lucky how it landed onto his right foot, with a bit of space. I think he's like caught it with his heel, he didn't really connect with it very well. Kelly does a good bit of defending there, gets across, doesn't commit, stands up, blocks the shot. $100 in the building. If you could drop a like on the stream, guys, it would be really, really appreciated. Really does help. Akanji. Looking for options, eh? Under pressure a little bit, does well. Kovacic into Rodri, knocks it back to Edison. What's the score there? It's got my camera just blocking like a tiny little bit of the screen there, and it's the other scores. Down the line to Bernardo Silva's one-on-one. Onto his left foot. Edge of the area is Rodri. Rodri's going to shoot, is he? No, he's cut onto his right foot. Still thinking about it. Plays it short to Kovacic. Bernardo Silva's everywhere. They can't cope with him. He's finding these pockets of space and they just can't deal with it, Bournemouth, right now. Kyle Walker, back to Rodri. This is when it works. This inverted winger system is working today for Bernardo Silva because he's ghosting everywhere and they don't know what to do with him. Every time he gets it, he's got about 5-10 yards of space around him. Doku down the left-hand side. Back to Ake. Douglas Ribley, good to see you in the chat. In answer to your question, who will be the next manager of Man City? I don't know, to be honest. I've got two that I would consider. Is De Zerbi at Brighton. I do like him. His temperament's an issue. He seems to lose his rag way too easily. You wonder if he's got too much emotion. You know, I think Pep controls himself really well. He loses it, Pep. You know, you can't expect a manager. You know, Pellegrini for me was way too chilled. Pellegrini didn't give a shit. Like, he was just so chilled all the time, wasn't he, Pellegrini? You want that little bit of fire, don't you? Bernardo Silva, Alvarez, edge of the area. Oh, it's clipped off Zabani. Gone out for another corner. But yeah, Pep's got that balance, you know. He's got the balance of everything right, Pep Guardiola. He understands tactics better than any manager I've ever seen in my life. I think anyone would admit that. That's a given. But it's the emotional side of the game that he doesn't actually get enough respect for. When you think Pep, you think tactics, don't you? But he controls his players so well. You know, an emotional guy on the touchline controls it reasonably well. Alvarez, it's gone short again. How will Bournemouth keep doing this? Unbelievable. Bernardo Silva whips it! Oh, what an effort from Bernardo Silva. How are Bournemouth allowing these short corners to keep happening? It's a short corner to Kovacic, who's sort of on the corner of the edge of the area, and he cuts it straight across the edge of the area to Bernardo Silva, who's coming onto it on his left foot. First time, whips it, trying to find that top corner, and he's not a million miles away. But yeah, Pep's just got that perfect amalgamation of everything you need in a manager without being too much of one thing and not enough of another thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, nobody's perfect, but even Pep isn't perfect. But if ever there was a manager that's close to being perfect, it's Pep Guardiola, isn't it? He's unbelievable. Because I think Fergie at times, it was tactically a bit... I don't think he was that good tactically. I think he was a man motivator. Very good man motivator. I think tactically he was very good. I just think there was a couple of big games in his overall career as a manager that he got found out. You know, the 2008 Rome Champions League final against Pep Guardiola's Barcelona proves my point. Tactically, completely destroyed by Pep Guardiola. Bernardo Silva down the left-hand side. But yeah, in answer to your question, Douglas, De Zerbi, the other one, Postecoglou's a possibility. Rodri bringing it forward, because I do like Postecoglou. But I mean, he's at Spurs, so you know, it's a long way away from him ever being a City manager. But Walker whips it in. It's a poor one from Walker. That's what I'm talking about when I talk about crosses from Kyle Walker. Not cleared though entirely, because Alvarez has picked up the loose pieces. Ake out to Doku. Doku onto his right foot. He's coming. He tries the 1-2. Oh, it's a goal! Doku! Doku! I'm not sure how lucky he was, because to be honest, there was a 1-2 attempt there with Rodri. Really good play from Rodri. The intent is what counts there. You know, you don't get a goal if you don't try things like that. And Doku tries them with power and purpose. Purpose! And he bursts into space. Tries a little 1-2 with Rodri. I got a feeling there's a deflection in there somehow, because he either deflected or he doesn't connect with it properly, because it trickles its way into the bottom right-hand corner. But Doku, little burst of speed there. 1-2. Sort of mishit it, I think. Jeff, you got the time wrong, Jeff, but you called it, mate. You're back in the game, Jeff. You're back in the game, Jeff. I was going to bench you, Jeff. You've saved your spot in the chat, mate. You've saved your spot in the chat with that prediction. I'm joking, buddy. Does he actually mean that? Because if he does, it looks like he means that. He just scoops it. He just doesn't get much power behind it. I need to pop a little Cheeky little 1-0 on the scoreboard. 1-0. Jeremy. Long ball over the top. Solanke's chasing this one. Bournemouth looking to respond. Bit of step overs there from Solanke. Kirkes whips it. John Stones clears it with his chest by the looks of it. And Walker finishes off the clearance. Brentford 1, West Ham 2. West Ham are a mad club at the minute, aren't they? They're a bit hot and cold. Will Pep manage England? I doubt it. Mustafa, hope you're doing well. Hope it's not lagging for you, mate. Because you were the main individual who was suffering last week. But I hope it's smooth as butter, the stream for you this week. Miawat. Yeah, it is interesting. But the thing what Silva's doing, mate, is he's inverting. He's not actually pinning. If you look right now, I mean, 48 seconds. He's not even inverted winger. He's coming collecting the ball off John Stones. So on paper, he's starting the game as right wing. You're absolutely right on paper. But in reality, in theory, that's what he's doing. But in practice, it's a very different role. He's got a very versatile role that Bournemouth can't manage with him at the minute. They are struggling to pick up Bernardo Silva. And for me, he's the key to unlocking Bournemouth even more. We have unlocked them already, of course, being 1-0 up, but still. Alvarez with a massive pocket of space into Doku, who's central this time, Jeremy Doku, working his way over to the right-hand side of the pitch. Linking up with Kyle Walker now. Doku down the right-hand side. What's he doing over here? A few step-overs. Doku, what's he doing? Twisting, turning. Lays it to Bernardo Silva, who tucks it into the bottom left-hand corner. What a goal. What a goal. Jeremy Doku, Bernardo Silva, link-up play. You love to see it, don't you? You love to see it. Doku thinks, I'm bored. Left wing, mate. Bored. I'm going on the right wing because that fullback, I've done him already. I need to go and do Kirkes. Kirkes hasn't seen me yet. I need to go and introduce myself to Kirkes. Kirkes, how you doing, mate? Step over, twist, turn, cuts it in. Bernardo Silva running into it, drifting, ghosting into the penalty area, and he just guides it into that bottom left-hand corner. Lovely, lovely goal. 2-0. Look at this footwork. Can't deal with it. It's not Kirkes, actually. He's dealing with it. I think it's Zabani, or Mepham. Oh, it's Mepham who just didn't have a clue what to do with Doku. Goal and assist for Jeremy Doku. Oh, love it. 2-0. That was a great goal. Really good football. Really good football. Oh, I love to see this. That's it. I don't mean to sound arrogant, but I did say a guaranteed win, didn't I? No, there is no guarantees. I understand that, but still, I felt like this was almost a guarantee, you know? Jeff, did you call the assist as well? No way did you, Jeff. No way. Doku to assist for Haaland next. You got the assist part right. I'll have to scroll back up the chat and see what you said, but yes, Jeff. Jeff, I'm back, baby. Yeah. Love it. That's my nervy 2-0 prediction just 32 minutes in, says Muddy Duck. Kevin De Bruyne is growing his luxurious locks, isn't he? He's got a nice barnet of hair there to deal with. And then they zoom in on Oscar Bob and Rico Lewis, who have equal amounts of hair to deal with. I say deal with, because that looks like a problem to me. I wouldn't like to have to deal with that hair, unless I'm a hairdresser, of course. But still, I don't know how you deal with hair like that. I keep mine short, keep it simple. Alvarez, who's quietly having a good game. You know, he's not doing anything like, assists and goals and anything that might catch your attention immediately, but he's linking up a lot of the play. Before Doku assisted Bernardo Silva. He was the one who picked up the ball about 4 or 5 passes before we started the counter-attack in oceans of space, and he sends Doku right through the middle of the pitch, and Doku just works his way over to the right-hand side of the pitch. Alvarez's involvement and his positioning has been really good as well. But for me, I know Bernardo Silva's got the goal, but he's been fantastic, Bernardo Silva, this half, and more on Pep's instructions, most likely, because they cannot cope with him. They're doing it again, Bournemouth. Alvarez has just got a corner, by the way, just to let you know. It's a corner. Bernardo Silva's waiting on the edge of the area. If they cut this back to Bernardo Silva, you're fuming as a Bournemouth fan, manager, player, whatever. How have they not recognised what's going to happen? He's cut it back. He's cut it back. Bernardo Silva, edge of the area. It's unbelievable. And now it's back to Alvarez. He's got space to cross it. Another corner. Should we cut it back? Because Bournemouth aren't going to do anything about it. They're not going to do a fucking thing about this. What are they thinking? Jeff's called it. Stone Screamer incoming next. Ole, 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 ole. Yeah, they've cut it back. Surprise, surprise. Short one again. Kovacic, Bernardo Silva. Edge of the area is Jeremy Doku. He's going to hit this. He's turned onto his left foot. He drills it. It's gone in. I can't believe this. I can't believe this football we're playing. I mean, Bournemouth are a joke. Defensively, how many times have we taken short corners, cut it back, and just started doing little intricate triangles that are really simple? And we're outnumbering them because we have 3 players in short corners, and they're sending out 2 players at best, and we're just knocking it around them, playing it across the edge of the area. You know? And then he got it back to Jeremy Doku on the far side of the pitch this time. He's about to hit it with his right foot, cuts it onto his left, and he pulls it with his left foot. Doesn't connect with it quite as well, but it still trickles its way into that bottom right-hand corner. 3-0 City. Doku feints onto his left. I mean, it's a good finish, in fairness to him. Wasn't much power behind it, but precision in abundance. Oh, it's Akanji's goal. It's Akanji's goal. It's come off Akanji's backside. It's an Akanji arse goal. 3-0, thanks to Akanji's buttocks. Oh no, it's hit his ribs. Not as funny. That would have been funnier. It was going wide. It was going wide. So that's a Doku assist, Akanji goal. Let's pop a third on, shall we? Have I done it? Yeah, 3-0. Like I said, get 2 or 3-0 up before half-time. You can start talking about goal difference now. Try and humiliate them. Not humiliate them, because I don't think we need to. By the way, there was a weird little poll that I saw about 4 or 5 years ago, and it stuck with me because I remembered, and it's just baffled me and bemused me. Like, why do they hate us? Because there was a poll that was done. I don't know, 1,000 fans from each Premier League club were interviewed and asked, who do you hate the most? And for some reason, there was a massive percent. Oh, it was given away by Radu. Oh, and Alvarez, poor touch. Lands to Doku's feet. Doesn't need a man on there. Doesn't get it. Still keeps the ball, though. But Bournemouth had an incredibly high percentage of their fans voted City they hate the most. Like, I imagine that's because we always beat them. And they hate the sight of us, and we always beat them. But I thought, that's a bit bitter. We have no history. There's no geographical reasons to hate us. Like, we're not anywhere near you on the map. And I mean, yeah, we beat you every time we play here, but we're not knobs about it or anything. Haaland's got a bit of space here. He's being forced away from goal, though. Gives it to Doku. This doesn't look like a game for Haaland. I'm sure he'll get a goal looking at the way this game's panning out, but this is a game for the midfielders because they're swamping Haaland. But Doku's in again, and it's not clear. What are they doing? Sliced and into the hands of Radu. Fortunately, into the hands of Radu. They're all over the place, Bournemouth. I appreciate that, Marie. If we could pop some likes on the stream, guys, it would be hugely appreciated. Mepam there trying to clear the ball, just swinging and missing at it. He's done it again. Kovacic's giving the free kick away, though. Apparently he's caught Scott. Camera zooms into Doku's face, understandably. And then it zooms into Jack Grealish's face, who's sat on the bench with his hood up. They do that, don't they? It's clever little cameraman work, trying to write a narrative. And I'm telling you, City fans, just be glad they both play for City. Because they both do different things. We don't need to pit them against each other. I understand why, and I understand at times we have to pick who we prefer in that particular moment. That's a given. I understand that. You know, there's only enough space for 11 players on a pitch. I understand that. Here come Bournemouth, though, in numbers as well. We're in trouble here. It's going to be whipped in back post. Rodri steps across really well. Not cleared, though, entirely. Edison's got to get this, does. Bournemouth have got a player down there. I think it's Scott who's gone down. Rodri steps across with a fantastic tackle. If he's not fouled him here, because I think they're hoping for a penalty, I don't think it's going to be given as one. I think Rodri's just crunched him with a bone-crunching tackle. It's not even that big of a tackle, to be honest. He just does really well. I think Scott's just kicked him. Rodri's stepping across his man. Absolutely perfectly timed. And he's just jarred his knee. He's jarred his knee. It looks like he's just whacked Rodri. The ball has just got sandwiched between Scott's right foot and the outside of Rodri's right foot. And the impact has probably just resonated up his leg. And it's jarred his knee. He looks like he's in serious pain here. He could be coming off here because that looks like a knee injury, which could spell the end for Scott. But Rodri's tackle, unbelievable. But yeah, no, I understand what we're talking about when it comes to Grealish and Doku in the sense of, yeah, there's only enough space for one left-sided player. Sometimes we could have Grealish on the left and Doku on the right, maybe. But there are going to be different moments that will need different players, you know. And you can't argue with Pep's decision to play Jack Grealish against United because Jack Grealish performed really well. He did brilliant things. And the positive between the idea of having Grealish starting games is going in the lead like we did against United, thanks to Jack Grealish's contribution to the game. He was a brilliant performance. No goals or assists or anything like that, but still really good from Jack Grealish. And then bringing on Doku with 15 minutes to go against an ageing and tiring Man United side. That's the stuff of nightmares for fullbacks, isn't it? You know, I'm knackered. And Doku's coming on. Unbelievable. You'd laugh, wouldn't you? You'd just like, oh, I'm fucked here. I'm absolutely buggered. It is Roy. Really, really impressive. 7 minutes, was it? Alvarez is in. Oh! Deflected. Zabani's got in touch. Vital touch, to be honest, because Alvarez tried to slide it across. He was in the area. Alvarez probably should have shot in hindsight. But he tries to be unselfish and cuts it across to Erling Haaland, who was waiting. And Zabani gets a vital touch out for another corner, which you know is going to go short because Bournemouth refused to defend short corners. They only want us to lump it into the box. And like I said, Scott has gone off, injured. Rothwell's coming on. He's in bits. He looks really upset. Scott does. It looks like a serious one, that. He's one of their best players in the midfield as well, to be fair, so it gets even worse for Bournemouth. Not a happy day in Manchester for Bournemouth, and it's gone short. Surprise, surprise, it's gone short. Alvarez and Kovacic just taking the piss. 3-on-2 with Doku involved. Doku doesn't need to touch it. It's come short. They're drawing him out again. With these corners, we are killing them with these short corners. And it's cleared, though. Kyle Walker getting back. And back to Edison. That's what we want from Kyle Walker. That's the part of the pitch that I like to see him in. You know, those defensive moments like that. It's just so reassuring, isn't it? Seeing him sprint back. Because you know that we're going to get the ball back. The biggest fear I have is one of these days that you just see Kyle Walker sprinting back to his own goal. And you see him do one of them, pulling up, like, with his hamstring. You know what I mean? It's going to happen one of these days. Because the way he moves, I'm surprised he doesn't pull his hamstring every bloody week. I don't know how he does it. Sprinting at such ridiculous speeds. At his age as well, you'd expect, you know, a muscle injury or two. But lately, he's been reasonably injury-free. He did pick up a bit of an injury a couple of seasons ago that kept him out for about 3 or 4 weeks. But still, 4 minutes of injury time. That's it, Jan. Got to get the focus on the goal difference. He's got special socks, has he? He's got springy socks. Edison tucks it right down the middle to Alvarez, plays it back to Edison. City just seeing out the clock now. I think we'll take 3-0 at half-time. Plays it long to Haaland. Oh, he couldn't bring it down. Just a bit overhit by Edison. Zabani's asking for a foul, though, because he was left on the floor in a heap after Haaland just dealt with him. Walker intercepts, giving away. Chance for a fourth here. Alvarez, man on, mate. Keeps the ball. Well done, Alvarez. Akanji, out to Kyle Walker. Rodri's giving it away. Unlike Rodri. Ooh, Aaron's getting a bit lucky there, bringing it forward, and he's keep going here. He's worked his way all the way across the pitch, coming down the left-hand side to Kirkez, who tries to find it down the line for Kirkez in a one-on-one race with Kyle Walker. I don't even need to tell you how that ended up, because Edison's got the ball. Surprise, surprise. Saeed, hope Anthony is watching Doku's performance right now. Yeah, mate. Anthony's a joke. You know what I mean? A joke. I'm not even going to get into what he does off the field, whether it's true or not. I'm not interested. I hope it's not true, but whatever. As a player, he's a joke. His attitude is pathetic, man. Like, he comes onto the pitch and he's so lazy, and he's such a luxury player. And if you're going to play like that, you have to be scoring goals. You know, you have to be doing something, contributing. Doku with a lovely little layoff to Alvarez. Haaland's in, one-on-one from Alvarez's pass, and he's intercepted it. Zabani, Haaland's got to get his shot away quicker there. He took too long on that, Haaland. He was in. Could have hit that first time, if anything. Alvarez with a clever little ball. Got to hit that first time, Haaland. Takes a touch, gives Zabani the chance to get back, and he gets back and tackles him. He's got to hit that first time. I agree. Jeff should have hit it first time. First in the league. Let's hope Tottenham lose or draw. Blue Ranium. Good to see you. Doku. They've taken a short corner, City have. Can you believe it? And it's gone to Bernardo Silva on the edge of the area. Kyle Walker. Oh, he was going for a first-time effort from about 30 yards out. Tries to side foot it, but it was blocked. Still, City have the ball. Doku down to the byline. Beats his fullback. Dinks it, back post. Akanji was waiting, but it was intercepted. It lands to Bernardo Silva. Keeps his composure on the edge of the area. Rodri. City prodding and probing. Final minute of the second half. Bernardo Silva's just worked his way in to the penalty area. And he gives a bad ball to John Stones, in fairness. Got 30 seconds left. Try and sneak a fourth. That would be nice. Alvarez. Onto his right foot. Edge of the area. It's about 6 Bournemouth players all camped on the edge of the box. Alvarez whips it first time. Haaland. Oh no, what's he doing? Is he limping? I swear I just saw Haaland limping, which is a nightmare. Half time. Not bad, hey? Not a bad first half. You take that, don't you? 3-0. Jeremy Doku lighting up the Premier League with scintillating speed, football and quality. His finishes weren't exactly the prettiest finishes, but fucking hell, they were effective. You know, you don't talk, it doesn't matter how it ends up in the back of the net. If it ends up in the back of the net, call me a happy man. But yeah, I thought the first one looked scuffed, but I'd like to see it again in more detail, because I'm actually thinking he meant it. Because I think the backlift indicates that he was trying to like poke it with his right foot. It just goes in so slowly, but it trickles into that bottom corner. The second goal for Doku's come off the backside of Akanji, which is why it ends up in the bottom right-hand corner. So still, you know, it's going to go down as an Akanji goal, that, and a Doku assist. But it's all about Doku this half, really. Bernardo Silva's involvement's been almost impeccable. One pass then at the end of that half where he gives it away. A poor ball to John Stones. Other than that, Bernardo Silva's been impeccable. Really good. Really, really good. That was astonishingly good, says Douglas. John Burgess, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. What an inspired signing. Amazingly eye-catching on the ball. This guy gets people up off their seats every time he gets the ball. Yeah, he really does, John. You know, and I think that's why people are drawn to him over Grealish, and I think people want to see more Doku than Grealish, but still, don't forget, Jack Grealish offers so much to this team. He really does. He really, really does. Would you make any substitutions? Would you think about fitness? Would you think about injuries now? Because the game's done, really. Done and dusted. You know, I can't see Bournemouth scoring 3 goals away at the Etihad. You know, even if they came out and got 1 goal and made it like, oh, they're back in the game, City would just shut up shop and pass them to death. You know, they go, all right, okay, they're going to have a little bit of momentum now. They're going to try and create a storm of footballing quality, trying to create threats. And we'd ride that storm out because we have both ends of the pitch covered now. You hear rival fans talk about us and the way they think about our team. And they try to find weaknesses, but they are clutching at straws every time. And they make up shit. You know what I mean? Like Haaland, for example. He's not scoring. He's not playing well. He's far and away the top goal scorer. He scored 2 at Old Trafford last week. I mean, that's not actually that big an achievement by the sounds of it now. But still, you know, I mean, to write off Erling Haaland, they just try to pick flaws in this City team because... And I actually think this is why, you know, we tend not to get a lot of attention in the media. Because it's boring. It doesn't sell headlines. And you might not like it, City fans. I don't like it. I think it's shit. I think that's the way, in particular, you might have a different media depending on what part of the world you're from. But in the UK, if it's negative, it's headline news. If it's positive, it's not even worth talking about. You know, if it's something good, nah, boring. Let's talk about things that are terrible, like Man United. That's a really terrible football club right now. Let's talk about them. You know, and that's why they get the headlines, you know. And the teams like us that are doing as well as we are, they brush over us. It's a quick little out of respect, like, oh, they're bloody brilliant, aren't they? Anyway, let's talk about Erik ten Hag. Is he staying or is he going? Like that. And every club that's in turmoil, like even last season, like Chelsea are not as big a club. I mean, arguably, we're now bigger than they are in terms of history, in terms of everything, really. The only thing was history. And in the last 5 years, we've overtaken Chelsea with our total number of trophies. So we're now a bigger club than Chelsea. But last year, there was so much talk about Chelsea because of how bad they were doing, finding themselves mid-table after spending like nearly £1 billion. You know, that's headline news. The day Pep Guardiola leaves or the day City, you know, for example, how much was City talked about when Rodri was sent off? And then when Rodri was missing for 3 games and City lost 3 games, it was all anyone could talk about. City have lost 3 games. Let's talk about City. Then they go and win against young boys and then they go and beat United comfortably. And it's not about United City, how good City were in that second half and how scintillating we were and the football that we played. It's about United because that's the focus, the negative football. So we need to get used to the idea that if we keep playing football like this, people don't want to hear from us. They don't want to talk about us. They don't want to hear from us. Because it just kills their spirits. You know what I mean? They come away, they want to go to a football match thinking there's a hope. You know? And you think Bournemouth came to this game with hope. They didn't. That's why I said guaranteed win. I did pop a question mark on there, trying to be sneaky. But in reality, I was thinking this is almost guaranteed. There was no way we were even drawing this game, having played as well as we played. And I don't think there's any shame in having confidence. I understand, oh, fucking hell, what a goal that was. Who was that? Kudos for West Ham with a bicycle kick, and he nearly scored another. Go and watch the West Ham equaliser against Brentford if you haven't already. What a goal that was. Unbelievable. But I don't think there's any shame in having confidence, you know, in saying we are going to win. If you look at like the elite level boxers, I understand they're doing it for headlines as well, but have you ever heard a boxer saying, oh, I'm going to struggle in this game. It's going to be a tough one. They always say, I'm going to batter the crap out of him and I'm going to smash his face in. I'm guaranteed going to beat him, 100%. Even if they know deep down they're not going to win, they never say it, you know. And you've got to. There's nothing. Ooh, nasty tackle there. You got to have that confidence sometimes. I tell you what, because United in the 90s, And Fergie got them feeling like that. You know what I mean? That level of confidence where they'd walk onto the pitch. I understand there is a fine line between arrogance and confidence. And United fans used to say to me, we're not arrogant, we're just better, which is a clever way of being arrogant, really. That's all that is. And it's not even that clever. It's just arrogant. But that's what that mentality is instilled into their way of thinking. And I don't think there's any shame. I understand we need to be humble to a degree. There's some unbelievable Premier League goals, by the way. Brighton have had it disallowed by the looks of it, but some of the goals I'm seeing, the highlights here, are absolute corkers. Unbelievable finishes. But still, I don't think there's that much shame in saying we're going to beat Bournemouth. I understand we need to look at it pragmatically and go, yes, there's an element of chance with Bournemouth because they're on the football pitch just as much as City are on the football pitch. But come on, let's be realistic. They had no chance today. They had no chance. The football that City are playing right now with Pep Guardiola as manager, it's clockwork football. That's what it is. That's why I'm so confident, because it is like clockwork. It's just a formality at times in these sort of situations. It really is. I mean, yeah, understandably, you're going to be nervous about a derby or anyone else, but I mean, Bournemouth coming to the Etihad, it was done before it started. But anyway, we need 3 more, says Vinny. We're in trouble, aren't we, Vinny? We need to make sure get this into the bag. MJG window cleaning, thanks very much, mate. Really appreciate that. Spice Wabap, good to see you in the chat. We've still got over 100 in the building as well. 82 likes on the stream. If we can match the number of people that are in the building, that would be hugely appreciated. Allow us to be arrogant now and say 3 more. Yeah, that's the thing. Arrogance and confidence is a fine line, isn't there? But I don't know. When it comes to rival fans, imagine if Arsenal won the league. Do you think they're going to give a shit about being called arrogant if they go and win the league this year, or Liverpool fans when they win the league? They'll be insufferable. Do you know what I mean? We won't hear the end of it. So I don't think there's any shame in jamming it down their throats. Now, we're the best, because it won't last forever. So you make the most of these situations, because it will not last forever. I can't remember who it was. Was it another Douglas, because the Douglas Wright is a usual guy. Douglas, and different Douglas that I haven't seen before, but you're just as welcome here, mate. Even though there's 2 Douglases now in the chat, you're just as welcome. Still, what you asked is a really interesting question going forward with the rumours midweek about Pep getting a contract extension. They covered that on City Extra. Big up to City Extra, by the way. But still, I didn't really feel there was any guaranteed truth to it, because I don't think Pep would, or Cheeky or Ferran or Khaldoon, any of the backroom staff would even entertain the idea of talking about contracts with Pep Guardiola in the middle of the season. Do you know what I mean? I imagine Pep as some sort of insane scientist sat in his laboratory in the middle of a season, and that's where he lives, And if you knock on that door, he'll answer the door like a feral zombie, like, what do you want? What do you want? Fuck off, I'm talking about football. Football. I'm not interested in contracts. So talking mid of the season about contracts, Pep's not interested. He's focused on the now. That's why I don't think we'll even hear about this Pep signing a new contract. It's either already been agreed or it will be agreed in the summer. I can't see it. Or maybe the Christmas break during a holiday period. Something like that. But there's no way on a Tuesday afternoon, like 3 days before we play a game, Pep's talking about contracts with the backroom staff. No way. It's not happening. The idea of Pep signing a new contract is incredibly exciting, and I think it's likely could happen, and I don't think it'll be 5 years, unfortunately. I think it's more likely to be 1 or 2. But I imagine that he'll be signing 1 or 2 years, and then that will be it after this. Probably get to 2025, 2026, hopefully. Beyond that, maybe 2027 at a push. I just hope that the rumours that Cheeky leaves when Pep leaves aren't true either, because he is a very unsung hero of Manchester City's success. He was the almost the red carpet itself for Pep Guardiola, because Pep Guardiola knew that Cheeky's there, waiting for me at Manchester City. While I'm doing my thing, he had a little break, didn't he, Pep Guardiola? Took a year off, then went to Bayern Munich. And he knew that I'm doing the Bayern Munich thing. I want to tick off the Bundesliga and do my thing at Bayern Munich. But he knew that Cheeky was waiting for him. And that was such an integral part to Pep Guardiola joining. And now the idea that Pep leaves and Cheeky leaves as well, that's devastating news. If that's true, that is devastating news. Because that's not just a case of, oh, we've got to deal with Pep. That's, you know, look at what United are having to go through right now. And I'm not saying it's going to get to that extent. It probably won't get to that extent because Khaldoon's not going anywhere. Ferran Soriano's not going anywhere. And these guys are pulling strings behind the closed doors and behind the curtains that we don't see, that are doing incredible things at this football club, that Pep tends to get the plaudits for, and mostly deservingly so, because of his tactics on the field. They're just unmatched and unrivaled. But still, what they are doing is giving Pep the platform to be Pep Guardiola and be the best version of Pep Guardiola. And if Pep's not being given that platform, then Pep can't be the best version of Pep Guardiola, you know? And the idea of Cheeky leaving, that's as big a blow as Pep leaving. Not quite as big, but still, it's big. I just hope that we've got some sort of contingency plan in place, and there is already a process that they're looking into for managing and planning for life without Pep Guardiola. And I think they need to do that, and I think they will be doing that, because you look at the track record of Mancini and Pellegrini, they were doing exactly the same thing. They already knew that Pep's off in the distance. I imagine they went to Pep first, went, okay, we can't get Pep yet because he's doing his Barcelona thing. Mancini, our next best choice, we'll go for Mancini. How about now, Pep? Nope, you're doing your Bayern thing? Okay, you go and do your Bayern thing, and then when you've done your Bayern thing, we'll be ready. Pellegrini, you come in. And it was all set up in place. And not only was it set up in place for Pep Guardiola, they picked managers that didn't require a complete upheaval and changing completely the methodology of Manchester City, and Pep Guardiola's style being mostly possession-based. Mancini kept it reasonably possession-based. Pellegrini was even more possession-based football. The fullbacks was the biggest thing Pep Guardiola needed to do. When he arrived, it was like we had Gael Clichy, Kolarov, Bakary Sagna, and Zabaleta, and Joe Hart. All of those five guys, that was the biggest thing Pep Guardiola did. Everything else was slowly integrated. The biggest, drastic change was the fullbacks and the goalkeeper. Because that's and we can see why now, can't we? We can see why he did that. It makes sense. So hopefully, to cut a long story short, that we've got a plan for life without Pep Guardiola. And there's going to be a downward trajectory for a year. Hopefully we can minimise it to a year where we struggle, we don't win a trophy, something like that. We have to go through life not winning football matches every week, because it's going to happen. And I'm sorry to be a downer, but we need to be real about it, because it's going to happen. And failing to plan is planning to fail, as they say. So I imagine there is something in place. But who would you guys go for as a replacement for Pep Guardiola? I've given my two, De Zerbi and Postecoglou, as the two that leap out to me right now that would offer something that could continue the legacy a little bit, continue the ideas and the philosophies can be carried on. Postecoglou's even more likely potentially, because he's got links with the CFG group, hasn't he? Because he was manager of Melbourne as well, wasn't he not? Correct me if I'm wrong. Phil Foden's coming onto the pitch. Second half's about to get underway. Haaland's come off, so there is no goal for Haaland today. Alvarez, I imagine, is going up top, and Foden's taking the space of Alvarez, and I think that's great news. Not because Haaland's off, I just think Foden will do an even better job in that position. Second half's underway. I got caught cold there. Was it Yokohama? Not Melbourne. I got that confused because he's Australian, isn't he? But yeah, he's got connections, hasn't he, with the CFG group, Postecoglou. But Bournemouth coming away, firing it around as well. Bournemouth here doing all right. Christie, Ake, really good. Intercepted. Yeah, I agree, John. The bench is insane, isn't it? We've still got a few decent players on there now. We've brought one of them on. Give you a little reminder of who is sat on the bench. Got Ruben Diaz, Calvin Phillips, Jack Grealish, Ortega, Gvardiol, Nunes, Foden, who's now on the pitch, Oscar Bob and Rico Lewis. Not bad, eh? Here come Bournemouth, though. Christie down to the byline. Oh! It's 3-1. Offside. Oh! Oh, bloody hell. It's made me go cross-legged, that has. He's offside as well. Good shout from the linesman there. They're going to look at this, but you don't even need the lines for this one. By the looks of it, by the eye, you could tell he was offside there. It was, I think it was Aarons who fed the ball down the outside challenge to Christie, who ends up at the byline. Christie cuts it across near post. Why are they zooming into that? We can tell. He's miles offside. Unless there's someone off camera. No. Why are we taking so long? This is why people give VAR so much stick. I don't need a line on the screen for this. That you use the edge of the area as a line, because two City players standing in line with each other, and there is a Bournemouth player a good 2 yards past both of them. We don't need to take this long. We're still zooming in on it. It was Douglas. It was a nice little finish from Solanke. Pokes it near post. Question marks about Edison, by the way, because he should be coming across that near post and collecting that ball. Yeah, he's about 2 yards offside. And now the lines are on the screen. That was, what, a minute? Do you know what, though? The thing is, I would rather they take longer over it and get it right than, rush it and get it wrong, like we saw the other week with Liverpool and Spurs. But still, can we not get a nice, happy medium between the two? Does it have to be painfully slow but right? Or really quick and shit and getting it wrong every time? Can't we just get it right and be a bit quicker? Bournemouth have come out with a spring in their step, They're firing it about. They're closing us down really well. We had an opportunity to turn then. Kovacic got caught on the ball. It was Rodri as well, getting caught on it. Zabani. City getting control of the ball again after a little 3-minute scare there from Bournemouth. I want a clean sheet tonight as well today. I don't want to see any sloppy goals being given away, because that just, that's bad habits. You start creating bad habits. Clean sheets are what win titles. These are the sort of teams we should not be even conceding a goal. We've had a little scare. So that'll do. No more of that, please. Kovacic lays it off to Foden. He's coming right across the pitch. Knocks it back to Ake, though. Plays it safe. All the way back to John Stones. Edison being closed down. Cool as a cucumber. Sprays it down the middle of the pitch. Foden needs to be careful. Plays it back to John Stones. Edison's feeling a bit excited there, you can tell. He's bored. Coming out of his goal with it. Here he is again, Edison. Tries to find it to Alvarez, who got caught underneath it. The whole atmosphere, you can probably tell in my voice and the way I'm talking about the game, that first half was frantic football from City, but not in like, frantic can often be perceived as a negative adjective, can't it? It's not. It was frantic but composed at the same time. Just speed with quality. This half just seems a bit lacklustre so far. What, 5 minutes in? Not many. City have barely strung 3 passes together. Neither have Bournemouth, in fairness. And it just looks like we're not moving across the pitch as quick as we were. And Ederson's giving it away. Sloppy. Here comes Christie down the right-hand side. Ake gets back, blocks the cross, but it's not gone out anywhere, so it's coming back in. Cross comes in. Kyle Walker gives a nudge on... Who is it? It's gone out for a goal kick by the looks of it. Got away with that one. Ederson needs to be a bit more assured with his pass there. Real, long-range pass that he could try. He needs to go with his laces there. Go for power. He went for his side foot, but there was too much distance to go with your side foot. He was never going to make it. He needs to use his laces there and fire it into him if he's going to go for a ball that far away from him. I agree, Douglas. We need to make more of Bernardo Silva because right now he's tucking in, playing alongside Rodri. He's drifting everywhere, isn't he? He's completely free. Doku's received the ball. Nathan Ake's been fouled though, come back for a free kick to City on the halfway line. You're absolutely right, Jan. I do think we need to take our goal difference seriously. What are we on now? What is the actual goal difference in comparison to the rest of them? Top of the league, of course. We're on plus 18, but Arsenal are on... Because they were ahead of us before this game on goals scored, weren't they? And they're not likely to go and get 3 or 4 against Newcastle. Newcastle are very strong at the back. So they're not likely to go and get 3 or 4. They're not even that likely to win because Newcastle are playing really well right now. It's going to be a really good game, that. Looking forward to that one. Eric's in the chat, no doubt. Probably pooping himself a little bit with consideration to the fact that we are looking pretty good right now. 3-0 up. Pressure on to Arsenal and Spurs and Liverpool, who all play after us. And I said it in the preview, the fact that we're talking like this already is a real indication of where the mindset is of our rival fans and where they see us, they won't admit it, but they're scared of us, effectively. They recognise the idea of if we draw, we lose. Because City will not be drawing games as many as they need to not win a league, Kyle Walker down to the byline dinks it's going to be caught by Radu. That's what I'm talking about from Kyle Walker's... The fact that he can get to that ball, to be fair, there wasn't any player in the City team would have actually been able to get to that ball because it was about to go out for a goal kick and he managed to get his cross in, but still, the cross needs to be better. But, talking about who plays first 11 games into the season, because it gives the team that plays first an advantage. That's mental. I've never known a Premier League season where they think like that. It's just a case of let's see where we are at the end of the game week. You start thinking about who plays first with 5 or 6 games to go normally. I've heard them talking about it already, like, City are playing first, Spurs playing on Monday night, Liverpool playing tomorrow night, or tomorrow afternoon rather, Arsenal playing later. It's crazy. But that first half, honestly, we've been saying it all season as well. That's a sentence that I keep saying. That was a good half, followed by a not so good half. This half's yet to play out, of course, so we're going to see how this half pans out. But I want 90 minutes of pure quality because they're there for the taking. We've given it away again. Bournemouth closing us down. They're in here. It's going to be... Got away with that. A poor touch from Solanke there and he got away with it. If he brings that under control, he's in. 1-on-1, going to be at least a goal. Has to have scored in that position there. He's right through the middle of the goal. It's April, Jeff. Why'd you ask? We are looking in good form right now, says Blue Rainium. We are, mate. This last, 10 minutes could be better. But still, you expect 10 minutes in a game, don't you, where there's a bit of a lull, the opposition poses a threat. That happens in every game, even in games when we're completely dominating. You expect the opposition to get a little 10-minute spell. I just don't want it to be a whole half of this. I really want it to go back to the first half where it was just pure domination, just with ease as well. It's like we're forcing it now. We're just trying to long ball there from Bernardo Silva. Maybe the one eye on Young Boys because we beat Young Boys, we're through, aren't we, effectively? Got 9 points to our name now with 3 games to go. I can't see anything but City into the knockout stages of the Champions League. I will be doing a watch-along for those that are wondering on Tuesday night. I missed the last Young Boys game to a bloody power cut. You know what worries me as well is that I live in a bit of a rural area. It's not actually in like a big city area or anything, so you don't tend to get that many power cuts. But I've lived here for about 7 years, and we have about 4 power cuts a year. Foden, Doku, left hand side, he's twisted him onto his left foot, and it's blocked. Corner ball. Yeah, I get about 4 or 5 power cuts a year. It's mad, that, and it really pisses me off because it always happens like right in the middle of the day. It never happens in the middle of the night or anything like that when no one cares because we're asleep. It happens when I'm just about to do a bloody watch along. Anyway, hopefully no power cut here. Anyway, you know what's happened if it suddenly goes black. But anyway, it's not going to happen today. I can't see it. One eye on Young Boys, Douglas. Yeah, I think there might be here. Corner taken short again. Bournemouth seriously not learning from their lessons. Doku working it in, he whips it in. Akanji brings it down. Kovacic over the bar. Akanji does really well there. He cushions it down. Doku receives the short corner and he tries to whip it into the back post into quite a dangerous area. It was sort of behind everybody though. And Akanji does really well to like stick a left foot out and cushion it, brings it back down and back into the danger area, back where it came from. And it comes to Kovacic, who needs to try and get his knee over the ball there, and he scoops it just over the bar. If he gets over it a little bit, he needs to lower his hip and get his knee over it and cushion that down into the ground. Instead, he cushions it straight over the bar. Opportunity for 4-0. Here he is, Kovacic again. Back with Rodri. Bernardo Silva. Kyle Walker. April the 12th, no way, Jeff. We're 2 days apart. And you don't need to send me anything, Jeff. Here's Phil Foden. Alvarez is in! Oh, a good bit of defending. He was shepherded out by Zabani by the looks of it there. Just a little bit. If that was Haaland, he was in trouble there because that was a case of who's stronger. 2 of them going for the same ball, leaning on each other. Alvarez was muscled out of it there, though, by Zabani. And Radu comes and picks it up. No, I'm 1988, Jeff. Luckily, none of my passwords, by the way, have anything to do with my birthday, because I've just given my full birthday credentials away. So feel free to try and hack me if you want, but nothing of it has anything to do with my birthday. But, yeah, giving your birthday away on the internet's not wise, is it? But never mind. Doku, oh no, Ake, he's left it for Ake. Doku sprints away. Ake sends Doku down the line. Oh, and there's a good bit of defending by Aarons there. Tackles it into Doku's shin, out for a goal kick. Jeff, you don't need to send me anything, mate. That's really kind of you, though. It's a long way away anyway. I do really rate Akanji. I really do. I think he's a really underrated player. The thing what surprised me is the Borussia Dortmund fans. They weren't that bothered that he left. They were like, well, why is City signing him? He's not that good. He's all right. Well, yeah. He was a bit of a meh to them, wasn't he? Like, they didn't really think much of him. Listening to the Dortmund fans. But something's, I don't know, like something's triggered him. Maybe he felt like Dortmund was beneath him. And it's like, this is my stage now. Manchester City, that's my stage. This is the place I want to be. And he's stepped his game up. You know, because he's been unbelievable for us. 15 million. Absolute bargain. Considering, I was just talking about Nathan Ake. 40 million for him was a bargain. 15 million for Akanji. To walk into that City defence and be probably our main defender, with Ruben Diaz spending a lot of time injured last season. For the first half of it, he was in and out. He came back and struggled with form when he came back after Christmas. The last 10, 15 games, though, Ruben Diaz was class. But throughout the whole season, Akanji was... Solanke's in here. Left foot off the bar. What an effort from Solanke. Bournemouth were passing it around then. While I was talking about Akanji, I was thinking, nah, they're not going to do anything. I'll carry on talking about Akanji. Then they rattle one off the crossbar. Kyle Walker clearing it. with a side-footed effort. Bernardo Silva's giving it away. I would think about getting Jack Grealish on, just to get a bit of control in our attacking play, because Bournemouth are threatening here. They're in again, coming down the left-hand side. Christie, bursting through. Kyle Walker says, get out. Closes the door, but it comes back in. Back post. Ake with a vital little header. Little dink over it. Aarons was waiting at the back post, and Ake, with just a little glance off the top of his head, sends it away, and Doku brings it away. That's true, Scott. Absolutely. Bernardo Silva, I mean, he was very good. When the standout performance was that Monaco, wasn't it? He made Yaya Toure look like a baby, didn't he? Bernardo Silva was running rings around Yaya Toure in that game. What a game that was. That's one of my, even though that's probably my favourite loss. You know, a game that you've just walked away from. You're pissed off because you've lost, but you still remember it as an unbelievable game. You know, that was probably my favourite game when we got knocked out, at least, against Monaco. And we got knocked out in the entire tie eventually, didn't we? But what a game that was. And Bernardo Silva was integral to Monaco's performance. I'm pretty sure it was a Falcao hat-trick, wasn't it, as well? Probably the game that made us sign Bernardo Silva. Here he is. Good bit of defending, though. He's brought down. Senesi with a good little tackle there. Nice one, Roger. You're from Jamaica, if I remember rightly. Appreciate that. Big up to Jamaica. Foden with loads of space. Nice little ball through the eye of a needle to Jeremy Doku. Onto his right foot. Doku 1-2 with Foden. Long 1-2. Phil Foden makes it 4. Jeremy Doku. Another assist for Doku. The football there was quite simple but effective. Really effective. Phil Foden with acres of space bursting into that space. Threads the eye of a needle pass into Doku's feet. Doku chopping and turning. Waits for Phil Foden's run. Finds him in the area. Foden brings it under control and smashes it right down the middle. I had a burp stuck in my throat then. I was trying to get to the end of my sentence without burping. But I couldn't make it. I didn't make it. So, Phil Foden there, lovely finish. Powers it. Past. You can't miss from there, really, can you? To be honest, worked his way into the... Controls it on about the penalty spot after Doku finds him pretty much on the penalty spot, and Phil Foden's momentum takes him onto the edge of the 6-yard box. Left foot, smashes it right down the middle. I mean, Radu had no chance. I think he's got a couple of Bournemouth defenders in front of him. He can't even see it. But a very, very long 1-2 that was. Like Phil Foden passed it from about 40 yards away. Smashes it across the floor to Doku. It took about 5-6 seconds later. Doku finds Phil Foden again, who carries on his run into the penalty area. Really good. Let's make it on the scoreboard. 4-0. That goal difference climbing. This is a statement now. This is where we get into statement territory, where you talk about, right, yeah, City beat Bournemouth, big whoop. But it's like, no, City destroyed Bournemouth. That's when you start taking notice and you start instilling fear into your rivals. And they start looking at you like they're not just winning like 1 or 2-0, they're destroying teams. You start doing that and the rivals will crumble. They will crumble. And this is the game for it. This perfect game, you know. With all due respect to Bournemouth, they are there for the beating. And I mean major beating right now. 35 minutes to go. We should be looking at 5, 6, possibly 7. Clean sheet would be nice. That's what I really want, because there's been a bit of sloppy play in that first 10 minutes of that first half where we were not really gifting chances to Bournemouth, but just could do a little bit better with it, like preventing the opportunities, a little bit more assertive in midfield. I don't think they get those chances if John Stones is playing alongside Rodri. And the reason he's not is because it's like, we don't need a double pivot against Bournemouth. We don't need two defensive midfielders. It tends to be the big games, doesn't it, when he plays John Stones and Rodri now. I've started to notice the double pivots kind of ignored in these sort of games. Here's Rodri bringing it forward. Bernardo Silva on the right-hand side of the pitch, tucking onto his left foot. Still going, switches it. Doku knocks it down the line to Ake. Oh, and it's come out, corner ball. Thought it ricocheted off Ake. Doku's been sensational. He really has. Bernardo Silva as well. That's the thing with Bernardo Silva. Calvin Phillips is coming on, and Matheus Nunes, and Rico Lewis. So you can forget the goals being 7. I think when you make those sort of changes, it tends to add a lull to the game. The momentum sort of slows down a little bit. But still, you know, Phil Foden down the left-hand side. Corner ball this is going to be. And it's picked up by Radu, who doesn't even go out. I think these substitutions are wise, considering, you know, we've got young boys on Tuesday as well, so it's not like a Wednesday game, it's a Tuesday game, so we're straight back in the action. Ego and I really appreciate what you said a couple of videos ago, might have been the last video. You said something in a comment just about how you could help to grow the channel. You don't have to do anything, mate, but having that in your mind is very, very kind and very thoughtful, just to think like that. You know, really appreciate that. So thank you very much. Do appreciate that. Foden. Rodri. We're toying with him a little bit now, which is fine. I understand that, but let's try and be a little bit more purposeful with it. Try and get more goals. Bernardo Silva thought he was going to shoot them from about 40 yards. Foden out to Kyle Walker with acres of space, but Kyle Walker doesn't know what he's doing there, does he? He doesn't like being in that position. And that plays it simply to Bernardo Silva, which is probably the right thing to do. Phil Foden, who's been a real quality substitution appearance, this has from Phil Foden. Like, ignoring the fact that he scored. Yeah, he scored, which was a great goal, took it really well. His involvement, man, he's been everywhere. He's really proving that, like, and here he is, Phil Foden, 1-2 with Alvarez. Could have taken it with him then, Phil Foden. Alvarez giving it away. I think Foden should have taken that with him there, because he was in. I think he just wanted to, I think he thought the Bournemouth players were a little bit closer to him than he actually was. Mustafa, good to see you, mate. In fact, you've already been here before, haven't you? Where have you been back from? Bournemouth looking nearly a bit of an opportunity there. Kyle Walker intercepts. Doku. You can see the fear, can't you? Doku's got the ball at his feet. And they're backing off. They don't know what to do. He terrifies defenders, Jeremy Doku. And he's so young. He's not even started his career, really. He's just starting it now. He's just getting warm. You know, imagine this guy is a 27-year-old, 28-year-old. Keep him fit. Hopefully there's no injuries or anything that creep into his career. If you can keep him fit, you know, playing week in, week out in a Manchester City side, teaching him the things that, even if it's 3 or 4 years of Pep Guardiola's tutelage, that will turn him into the most frightening, bordering on unstoppable player I can think of. Like, what he's doing is incredible. I always think of, like, when we signed him, it was like Saint Maximum, Adama Traore, you know, these flair players that are just raw power and dribbling ability that, yeah, I've seen, who was it? I think it was John who said that gets you off your seat. He does get you off your seat. But with Adama Traore and Saint Maximum, there was such a lack in end product. You know what I mean? Like, it was always like a cross that went 50 yards over the bar, or like a finish that was just woefully past the post. And it was disappointment eventually. It was like, yeah, edge of the seat, but you'd be soon going, slumping back down into your seat. Doku not only gets you onto the edge of the seat, he gets you off your seat celebrating because he's scored. You know, and that's a level of quality. That's the difference in a good player and a great player and an elite player. You know, and he's on his way. He's on his way. There's no reason why this guy couldn't become one of the greats. You know, he's got everything in his locker. Rodri's coming off. Substitutes coming on. Calvin Phillips on. Nunes on. Rico Lewis on. I've lost who came off, though. I know Rodri's one of them. Sheffield United 1 up. Philip Billing is coming off the pitch. Semenyu's coming on. Scored against Burnley last week. In fact, I think I put him in the thumbnail. Didn't I? Tavernier's off. Phil Foden fouled on him, surely, yeah. He's ghosting everywhere, Phil Foden. He's been brilliant. I think the absence of Kevin De Bruyne has given Phil Foden a little bit of a platform to really take the City shirt and that number 10 role and that creative midfield role more than he ever would have had the chance to had Kevin De Bruyne still, be fit. Who's come off? I've lost track here because who was on the pitch before? Who's now not on the pitch? I'm struggling to work out who went off. There's Bernardo Silva, surely. No, he's there. Who went off? Who did we have on the pitch before? Let me look at the team. John Stones has gone off. Can't see him anywhere. John Stones is off. Oh, so close to 100 likes. If you could, any of you 141 people that are in the building that haven't dropped a like, if you could get us to 100, that would be unbelievable. Thank you very much. Was it Alvarez? Mudau, yeah, it was, wasn't it? What am I thinking? So we haven't got a forward on the pitch right now. I imagine Phil Foden's almost going to play a bit of a false 9 role now. Calvin Phillips getting stuck in nice and early. Yeah, Haaland went off at half-time, Edward. So he was one. It was just this little... We had 3 subs all came on. Nunes, Phillips, and Rico Lewis all came on at the same time. And it was Rodri, Stones and Alvarez who all went off. Bournemouth are in here. Aaron's... It's got to be a goal, this. How... Shitty now! Really sloppy. I want the clean sheet so badly. I think that's what happens. You make so many substitutions like that. Akanji's down as well. Looks injured. Badly injured. I'd like to see the offside, though, on this one. He looks onside to me there. Closer than the other one, though. And he's behind the ball as well, so it's going to be a goal, this. You should think it is. Tidy little finish. Made it 4-1. Back down to 3+ goal difference. That was crap. And I'm sorry, we've had a really good day, City fans. A really good day of football. Quality. It's just these little details, like you want to iron them out. And am I being greedy? Asking for a clean sheet? I don't think I'm being greedy. I'm not asking for perfection. I haven't seen enough from Bournemouth today to suggest that they deserve a goal. They are checking an offside here. And to be honest, they deserve a goal from that bit of play. Just like we deserve to have a goal scored against us to allow that to have happened. They're looking. It looked like he was behind the ball here. But now it's a case of, is he ahead of the ball when the ball was played, which makes him offside, of course. So this has got to be given, hasn't it? Or is it? It's going to be given this. Because because the ball now is the thing they need to put the line on. Do they put it? Yeah, he's miles onside. Miles onside. This is going to be a goal. I'll check him out, Mustafa. Don't know much about him, to be honest. Dedic. I'll have a look. Yeah, goals given, by the way. Brentford 3-2 now. 2-1 up, West Ham. They're a mad club, aren't they, West Ham, at the minute? Up and down. I think you might be right, Jan. I think he was a bit overly zealous with his substitutions there, and he really, disrupted our momentum. You know, maybe bring on one at a time would have been a bit wiser thing to do there, but they completely disrupted our midfield, completely disrupted the solidity that we had with John Stones, and there was just big gaping holes in the middle of the pitch and at the back in the back three. And Bournemouth have got a goal back. Here they come again. They're not going to do anything, surely. Sinistera was the goal scorer, by the way, for Bournemouth. Rothwell working his way through with ease. And Kirkez ended up nearly tackling him, but he's got the ball back, Kirkez. He's going to whip it. Rico Lewis, deflected cross. Kovacic clears it. If they score again, Bournemouth. Come on. Can't. Surely. Why are we even entertaining this as a possibility? Rico Lewis showing some strength there against Kirkez, and then the intelligence to knock it into Calvin Phillips, who dilly-dallies on the ball. Calvin, what are you doing? Score I do. Sorry, Jan. Yep, 4-1. You've got my back. Appreciate that. That's not a foul. Calvin Phillips has got away with that there. He got caught on the ball and he got tackled. Referee's given a foul there. And I want Calvin Phillips to do well, don't get me wrong, but that was not a foul. He got caught on the ball, dilly-dallying on it. It's got to be sharper. Rico Lewis inverting by the looks of this. In fact, he's not even inverting. I think he's just out and out playing. We're playing in two defensive midfielders now with Rico Lewis and Calvin Phillips. Doesn't fill me with confidence, to be honest. The game is already won, so that's probably why we're doing it. But Rico Lewis is doing his thing. Calvin Phillips has a little less. I mean, that's mad, isn't it? How we talk about Rico Lewis, 18 years old, and I think most City fans would trust him more than Calvin Phillips, an 18-year-old. Which speaks volumes about Calvin Phillips and his, the time, his career at City has just been so sad. It's just sad. I feel for the guy. I don't hate him. I haven't got anything against him as a person. It's just he's never been good enough. He's come on now. And this year in particular, he's actually getting a few opportunities. Comes on against Wolves. We concede a goal. He's come on here. We've conceded a goal. Doesn't look good, does it? It doesn't look good. Even his England performances, he looked ropey against Inter Milan, against Italy. And, he got himself booked. He arguably could have been sent off in that game. So it's not like the City-Phillips connection isn't there. He's playing poorly for England now as well. So the form's dipping. Nunes giving it away. Bournemouth going to break here. Ake's going to have to get back, and get back he does, and sends it out for a corner. Absolute class defending from Nathan Ake. Saw the danger, and gets in front of Semenyo. He's so alert there, Nathan Ake. So good. Really sloppy play from Nunes in the middle of the park. Could have been mopped up by Calvin Phillips or Rico Lewis. Neither of them do. Nathan Ake is the only one switched on there who sees the danger and gets in front of his man and kicks it out for a corner. I love defending like that. You're just ahead of the game. Corner ball, whipped in. It's going to... Cleared by Nunes, Didn't get it away early. Nodded down, and you're just hoping it's a City boot that boots it away. And it was, thankfully. Brighton are still losing to Everton. Sean Dyche has got him playing. How good is Sean Dyche's voice? It's like he was born to be like a wrestler, wasn't it? Like a WWF wrestler. It's like he permanently sounds like a wrestler. Good bit of build-up play with Edison and Rico Lewis and Akanji. You don't need to apologise for anything, Marie. You don't have to be here, but I do appreciate you being here. But don't you need to apologise for taking your dog for a walk? Got to do what you got to do. Maybe that's not a bad shout, Jan. I think that would be a happy ending for Phillips. That wouldn't it? You know, his career. If Leeds got promoted, would he stay? Because City fans are obviously thinking he's gone in January, and it sounds like he's gone in January. Where to, I don't know. There's quite a few clubs have been linked with him. Even bloody Liverpool have been linked with him. Spurs have been linked with him. It sounds more likely to be like Newcastle or Everton. They're the two that are a bit more concrete rumours in January. But if he didn't go in January and we had him till the end of the season... Personally, I would like to see him go to Leeds just for his sake, you know, as a personal thing, not as a football thing, more as a sentimental thing. It'd be nice for him to go back. I might not be. I think I've already said it, Connor, but yeah, it's USA Network. If that gets me in trouble, it gets me in trouble. Is a double treble a real thing? Well, I don't know. We could make it one, couldn't we? Imagine. Doku. What a ball from Doku. All the space in the world for Bernardo Silva, who's in on goal. Is he going to cut it across to What's he doing? He's got to pass. Oh, Bernardo Silva. It's in by Nunes. Who scored this one? Because Bernardo Silva with a lovely little dink. If it's crossed the line from Bernardo Silva's little dink, I hope it has for the sake of it being a quality goal. Because what a finish. But Matheus Nunes makes sure either way he buries it, Matheus Nunes. It could be a Nunes goal, could be a Bernardo Silva goal. But the ball from Doku on the counter-attack. The vision from Doku as well. Something we've not seen from him. You know, he saw the big picture, not the little picture. I need to see that this is going to go down to goal line technology because Bernardo Silva feints. Dinks it. Is he cleared it off the line or not? But Nunes finishes it either way. It's a lovely finish from Nunes to make sure. Part of me wants Nunes to get it. Part of me wants it to be Bernardo Silva's goal because of the little dink. Let's have a look. Whose goal is this? The two Portuguese. Wondering. Is it my goal? Is it your goal? Don't know, but City are 5-1 up. Goal difference. Boink. Back onto +4. Bernardo Silva, I think he had the best look at this, because he was on the line himself, basically, whether it goes over. That's Bernardo's goal, that. Surely that's Bernardo Silva's goal, even without goal line technology. Here we go. This is the one we need to see, the angle we need to see. Yeah, it's Bernardo Silva's goal all day long. Lovely, lovely goal from Bernardo Silva. Well played, Matheus Nunes, by the way, for putting it in, you know, because that was not an easy finish. You could easily slice that. He volleys it because it's cleared off the line, but not entirely, almost on the penalty spot. Matheus Nunes volleys it into an empty net. Not his goal. It was already a goal by that point. Doku, 4 assists. Is that right? 4? Is that right? 4 assists. Because he got the one off Akanji's back, wasn't it? I've lost track of how the goals went in, to be honest now. But that was definitely a Doku assist. Took him a while for it to actually be registered as an assist because Bernardo Silva had the ball for about 5-6 seconds, dribbling with it with acres of space going towards Bournemouth's goal. That's insane. Yeah, Doku, man of the match. Bernardo Silva's left the pitch, by the way. Oscar Bob's come on. So that was a nice little bit of action for Bernardo Silva to leave the pitch. The finish from Bernardo Silva as well, by the way. A little dink over the keeper. The fact that he beat, I think it was Mepham who was closing him down, or was it Kelly closing him down as Bernardo Silva was bearing down on goal. It looked like Kelly was about to get a tackle in, but Bernardo Silva slowed himself down and then just like a little burst of speed. Didn't even need that much speed, to be honest. It was just a little clever little bit of body language to trick his Kelly into slowing down to speed back up again. And then once he'd beaten him, he'd give himself the opportunity to get the shot away, and then a little dink over Radu. And that finish was sublime, mate. Absolutely sublime. Time to make this 6, to be honest. Kanji's been fouled there, surely. I agree, Ian. There is still part of me that's annoyed we've conceded a goal. Ashley Young own goal. He's a bit of a knob, Ashley Young, isn't he? But in fairness to the guy, he keeps going, doesn't he? He's like, what is he now? Like 37? 38? He might even be older than that. He's still playing, doing an alright job as well. He actually got himself sent off, didn't he? In the Merseyside derby. Now he's just come back and he scored an own goal, so maybe he's not doing that well. He needs to stop eating bird poo. That's what he needs to start doing. Who remembers that? That was a funny little moment, wasn't it? Shouting at his teammate and a bird shits in his mouth. You could just see him talking as his bottom lip was just flailing. And his bird shit just lands straight in his mouth. And he sort of rolls with it, doesn't he? As the shit's like spreading between his lips. It was absolutely rank. But he didn't react. Didn't do anything. He just dealt with it. I don't know. Did he swallow it? No one knows. No one's even asked him a question about that. I'd love to hear what he has to say about that. That was funny. 38, is he? But yeah, anyone who's wondering what I'm going on about, yeah, go and type in Ashley Young bird poo in YouTube and you will have a good laugh. Enjoy yourself. Oscar Bob down to the byline, whips it in. Ake with a booming header. Diving header makes it 6-1. Oscar Bob right onto the pitch and bags himself an assist. Nathan Ake deserves a goal as well, scoring against his former club. Oh, you love to see it. That header was just great. Just diving. Boom. Love it. Love a diving header. Old school. Love it. 6-1. Goal difference. +5. Nathan Ake, brilliant. Really good. Deserves a goal. Need to have a look for offsides and things like that. Oscar Bob's onside. Nathan Ake's behind the ball. Going to stand. No need to get VAR involved. 6-1. Oscar Bob, brilliant. Nathan Ake's run, brilliant. Really good goal. Didn't even look. Just hoped that there was someone in there. Nathan Ake says, you don't need to hope, mate. I'm going to be in there. Charging in. He's got a man on him as well, and he's like trying to drag him down, and Nathan Ake just dives onto it. Really good goal. You can if you can find it, Jan. It could be, Ian. 6 with no Haaland goal is weird. That is odd, isn't it? Haaland hasn't scored and we've scored 6. It's a good day. It's a very good day. It's got to be Doku, hasn't it? Man of the match. There's no question, really, is there? I mean, an insane amount of involvement. Is that right? Remind me, I've lost track of the goals. What was the first goal? I'm going to try and remember without looking at the chat. 7 minutes of injury time. Bournemouth just you're killing us, man. You're killing us. What are you doing putting 7 minutes on 6-1? This could be 7. We could get another here. We need to get, not 7 minutes, I mean 7 goals. Calvin Phillips and Nunes being a bit passing it 2 yards away from each other there. I think Kovacic has been okay. Nice little run from him there as well. Bursting through the lines. Sends a lovely... good idea that. Phil Foden was looking for a good bit of defending. Kovacic has been okay. There was someone in the chat said he was useless. I disagree with that. I don't think Kovacic has been fantastic. His signings become a bit mixed. I thought he got off to a really good start in his City shirt. First 6 games of the season, really good. Then Rodri left, in terms of being suspended. And it sort of exposed Kovacic as the job that's required in Manchester City midfield is such an intense one, with real, not just quality on the ball, physicality, an engine. You've got to have, almost everything in your locker, like Rodri. And John Stones. I'm putting Kovacic in there. There was moments where he looked a bit leggy. I don't think he could cover the ground quite as well as Rodri. And Rodri's not quick, mind you. But Rodri was a bit more intelligent. Didn't need to cover the ground because if his intelligence, his positioning would put him in positions that would, he didn't need to sprint. I'm already there. Doku, 1-2 with Oscar Bob. Down to the byline. Doku, twisting, turning. Back to the penalty area, edge of the penalty area. Rico Lewis now. Out to Nunes. Slowed it down a little bit. Oscar Bob working into the area and dinks it into Rico Lewis. Phil Foden twisting and turning and is tackled. Bournemouth bring it away. Or do they? Calvin Phillips steps across and does a good tackle, sends it out for a throw-in. Yeah, it was Doku who scored first, wasn't it? So you confused me, section 20. Saying he wasn't involved in the first goal. Because he scored it, didn't he? Yeah. Doku is man of the match for me. You can't really get those goals and assists in a game and not get man of the match, in truth, to be honest. But it isn't just about G&A. It is about his overall performance. I think he has offered a genuine threat to the point where Bournemouth look terrified of anything coming his way. They've almost backed off him. If it wasn't Doku, it's Bernardo Silva. Hands down. Phil Foden's intercepted. You're in, Phil. What's going on here? I'm well hungry. I only had soup. I've just had a bowl of soup. That's all I've had today. Oh, I can hear my tummy rumbling. When it hurts you, when you get that hungry, it hurts. Trying to send Doku through there. He's going to be in it as well. How's Doku got on that? Aaron's. Oh, and Doku's overran it. He's fuming with himself. Doku. I wouldn't hang your head too low, mate. You've had a fucking unbelievable game. He overhit it, sends it out for a goal kick, and he's absolutely fuming with himself, but doesn't need to feel that bad. But that's his standard. That's the attitude we've got there. Doku being as pissed off as that because he's not punished them further, and an opportunity to try and make it 7-1. That's the attitude that we want, man. That's what we want. Kovacic bringing it down the middle of the pitch. Caught on it. It's a bit slow on it there. Needed to get his pass away a little bit quicker. Kieran, I'm watching it on USA Network. Thanks to Jeff, who's in the chat, who's given me access to that. Big up to Jeff. Anyone who doesn't know Jeff and you've just joined, he is a legend in the chat. I'm on a desktop, Maurice. I'm watching it on a desktop. I'm surrounded by monitors. I've got one monitor here, got a monitor there, got a monitor there, and I've got a laptop here. It's just to help me, man. You need the screen space with all this stuff. I hate the idea of cramming everything into one screen. That wasn't a flex, by the way. That was me sounding quite like, hey, look what I've got. I've got 3 monitors. Look at me, Mr. Look what I've got. Yeah, it wasn't a flex. I was just trying to answer your question. Would you say this was a free hit for Bournemouth? I hate that sort of talk. I don't think any game should be considered a free hit. But if ever there was a free hit, it was this one. Oscar Bob down the channel into Nunes. Oh, he's got caught on it. There's opportunity for a 7th goal here. I do super chats, Roger, but don't feel like you have to, mate. I'm not in this for the money. But yeah, anything you can do to help support the channel really does help. But yeah, please don't go out of your way to do anything. The thing is as well, I'm quite active with the chat as well, so don't feel like you have to spend money to be heard. And if you want to have a chat with me, I will try and read as much as I can. Whether or not you spend money to do that or not. If you do, then you're supporting me, and that really does help, and I'm very, very grateful. But I'll try and read as many comments as I can. Connor, you're a United fan, but don't get me wrong, your team is something else. Well, that's honest of you. That's the thing, mate. It gets to delusion, doesn't it? If you pretend we're shit, it is delusion. Like, you only make yourself look like a fool if you were to think City is shit. No, it's incredible watching some of the football we do. I said it earlier in the stream, clockwork springs to mind. It is like clockwork. There's almost a foregone conclusion mentality about it. It feels done. And I have no regrets in asking the question in my last preview for this game, is this a guaranteed win? Because it feels like it. Kovacic is in. He's going to score, surely. Oh, he's hit it straight down the middle. He's got to put that either side of the goalkeeper, Radu, there. Kovacic chops onto his right foot with a good bit of play. He's looking like he's been injured as well. The full-time whistle's gone. He would have been onside as well there. That would have been 7. I think he got an injury as well. He's been kicked on his standing leg, so give him the benefit of the doubt for not finishing that one. But still, 6-1. A very enjoyable scoreline, one that makes me happy, as well as reminding me, Connor, if you're still in the chat, you're going to have to take this one on the chin, but reminds me of a certain result at Old Trafford. Whenever we win 6-1, it always brings back good memories. But yeah, unbelievable, really, 6-1. Is it unbelievable? Is it? Probably not, really. I had a feeling we were going to wipe the floor with them. My prediction was 5-0 at the start of this game. In my preview, that was my prediction. I think a lot of you were predicting similar sort of scorelines, understandably so. The game panned out exactly how you'd expect it to, really. City completely dominating, created enough chances to score 6 goals. Blotch, obviously, conceding a goal like that, a bit disappointing. To come away with a silly moment like that, and it's a blotch on the score, on the overall today's performance, on the overall feel of today. Conceding that goal was sloppy and silly. I think Pep bringing on 3 substitutions probably played a role in that, because there was a 3-on, 3-off situation which kills momentum and kills the fluidity of the game, and normally it impacts the team negatively or positively depending on the team making the substitutions. And the fact that we were winning the game comfortably at that time, and Bournemouth weren't even getting a sniff of the ball, and I think that gave them that opportunity. But yeah, 3 points on the board. Blues, top of the league, albeit until half an hour away when Arsenal play Newcastle. Can Newcastle do us a favour and keep us top of the league? Sheffield United have just won as well, their first Premier League win. But Blues, thank you very much for joining me in this watch long. I'll be doing a match reaction after this as soon as I possibly can. Come and join me for that if you can. It'd be hugely appreciated. If you could drop a like on your way out of the stream, even if you're not a City fan, it really does help, and I really appreciate it. If you can, I'd appreciate it. And I'll see you in the next one.